Next question goes as well to Team JLP. It's from Nadine MacLeod.
Now, many university students cannot afford to pay tuition fees up front. What programs can your party in power implement to help more young people access tertiary education while reducing the burden on the state?
Well, it is very, I am quite happy with that question, because today one of our success stories as an administration is the reforms that have been administered to the Student Loan Bureau. We have expanded the pool of funds available for on lending. We have reduced the interest rates, and we have changed how the interest rates are computed from compounded interest to the reducing balance. We have also extended the time available for repayment and also the grace period before which one has to start to repay. In that context, we are creating an enabling environment for more Jamaicans, young Jamaicans, to access tertiary education.
Thank you, Mr. Newby. A rebuttal now from Team PNP.
And as we rebut that one, Marlene can't escape. If she believes so much in transparency, who paid for Mannert, Phelps and Phillips? And as a former resident magistrate, to so callously disregard the rules of the court and our constitution is shameless, graceless and vulgar. Dayton?
In relation to tertiary education, what we want to do is that we want to have a public-private partnership in providing employment for students at the tertiary level. We also want to look at the students' loan and we want to look at the repayment. How do we calculate the repayment period for these individuals? And we want to tie that to their employment post-university. So we want to look at what job it is that they have secured and then work out a payment system in relation to that job that they have secured.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Nadine MacLeod has indicated that she will use one of her follow-up questions now.
Aside from the reform to the Student Loan Bureau, should your party be returned to power, what other programs can and will you put in place to help these students?
Well, we have been expanding the concept of workforce colleges through the Heart Trust NTA to lift the skill levels that are available for vocational training for all young Jamaicans. This will enable us to attract the sort of investment that is specialized to the areas that we are training our young people in. It is supported by labor market data, and we are of the view that by 2020 we're going to be raising the number of Jamaicans that are certified at this level to 50%.
A rebuttal from Team PNP.
Yes, the truth is that I'm not quite sure what Warren is actually speaking about. And it's very interesting to actually hear him give that kind of data. If the People's National Party is returned to government, we will do exactly what Dayton has said in terms of finding meaningful ways for students to repay their student loan and work out teacher, private sector, joint venture relationships where private sector matches the funds that we put up.
Ingrid Brown has the next question. It goes to Team PNP.
Some young Jamaicans in particular have become quite disenchanted with the politics of old. Do you agree with those who call for the retirement of the stalwarts to make way for fresh faces with new ideas? Why or why not?
It is more than about retirement for fresh faces, because you can have, as displayed here, young people who are so cemented in the old approach that their dates of birth make them too redundant and in need of retirement. Our commitment is, having been away from the front line for the last 4 years, we have assessed global developments so that we are able, as we have displayed with the progressive agenda and will confirm with the manifesto, designed a set of policies and programs where the experience and wisdom of stalwarts in the PNP, matched by the energy, experience and new approaches of Lisa, Dayton, myself and so many of our other young candidates, to bring about a new approach to match the emerging and existing challenges which face our society.
A rebuttal now from Team JLP.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow Jamaicans, what Raymond has done demonstrates the old politics of nasty attacks and getting personal, and it is so wrong. I know many of you, like me, are just tired of that old politics. But there are 3 stages of people's life: the ascent, the apex, and the decline. And giving up power is very important, as taking power. And people must leave gracefully and hand over to the next generation. There are new mountains to climb. Leave gracefully and you lead happier lives. This is the time for a next generation in leadership.
Thank you, Mrs. Malahoo Forte. Garfield Burford has the next question. It goes to Team JLP.
Many Jamaicans expect newer, fresher, and more progressive thinking from younger Jamaicans. As younger members of your party, what is the most radical strategy that you would employ to implement to deal with unattached youth?
Well, unattached youth, as you would have recognized, is covered under our CAP program that today is training 12,300 young persons enrolled in 78 institutions. And in addition to that, some 4,500 are being trained through the National Youth Service. And of course, the Heart Trust NTA trained just last year 85,000. So we're making a very serious attempt at dealing with the issue of unattached youth. But beyond that, we're looking at what has caused youth to be unattached and placing in the educational system the relevant checks and balances to ensure that before they leave at sixth form, they are adequately prepared to meet the demands of the labor market.
As part of that, we will look at those who are young offenders, those with mental health problems, alcohol problems.
Thank you, Mrs. Malahoo Forte. I believe the time for that is up. Let's have a rebuttal from Team PNP.
The truth is that unattached youth is a serious problem, and the majority of our crimes are committed by young people who are under 30 years old. The PNP has a vision, because the truth is you cannot train young people if you have no job to put them in. And the fact of the matter is, we have not been able to compete in this global economy. The PNP intends to pick the winners that we will compete in, agribusiness, tourism, creative industries, and train our youth as a pool to feed into these industries. So it's a bigger plan, it's a bigger pot, and we want to say to our young people that we will be creating those jobs in the short term and the medium term. We've done it before, and the JLP has squandered that away by losing over 90,000 jobs since they have taken office.
Thank you, Ms. Hanna. Nadine McLeod has the next question, and it goes to Team PNP.
Yes, you said in your opening statement that you bring a team that has youth, fresh thinking and experience. Now, some may say that it sounds all too familiar. Along with that, young people represent a large percentage of uncommitted voters. What else can we expect from you, and how will your government seek to win these uncommitted voters?
All right, the issue of uncommitted voters is part of the response that not only in her opening statement, but the last response that Lisa alluded to. There is an expectation and delivery deficit. There has been for some time. We mean to correct that. Correcting that is more than describing statistics, Warren. It is about putting tangible manifestations, not just manifestos, Marlene. One example of the money misused in the JDIP program, for example, if that were to have been applied to some of the programs such as the Agency for Inner City Renewal by Henley Morgan and other civil society and community-based led organizations, they could have plug-in points for young people who we continuously describe as unattached, who actually are just seeking the proper programs to attach themselves to.
Thank you, Mr. Pryce. We'll now have a rebuttal from Team JLP.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh thinking is about rejecting old-style politics, which has harmed us more than it has helped us. And we have a young Prime Minister, Honorable Andrew Holness, who is demonstrating what it takes to lead a country as a new generation of fresh thinker. And I just cite one example of pulling people in and holding them accountable. The issue of JDIP has been raised. There are a number of issues that we have, a number of problems we face as a nation. But we're not going to solve them if we are not able to break away from that old-time thinking and just attacking each other. As Mr. Pryce, you're doing. It's just plain wrong. Plain wrong. That's not fresh thinking.
What are the solutions?
Let us show how leadership can mobilize people around a common cause.
We will now take a short break. We invite you to stay tuned.